Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is John and Jenna with Flippin' Ain't Easy, and for only my fault, we were late, just scrambling around here, and it's one of those days, kind of twice a year kind of thing, where I have a little fun between working and fun, sort of a fun Friday, but it's has to do with Breeders' Cup for horse racing, and so I've been doing a little of that, and up a couple $100. So, I mean, that's now. I mean, by tomorrow it'll probably be all gone. Yeah. So, but just having fun nonetheless, and while I'm getting work done. So it's one of those relaxation Fridays. But wanted to talk to you guys about account health, and I think a lot of maybe channels out there just don't really even talk about it too much. Maybe it's misunderstood. Maybe there's a lot of people who don't think it's that important, but I'm a firm believer in that everything that eBay measures and asks you to do, there is I think some importance to it. And like if we're talking about just our own feedback rating, we know that feedback doesn't really mean as much as it used to, but it certainly, I believe, does have some kind of meaning. But what about those other ratings, like the average description, the accurate description, that is, shipping speed, reasonable shipping cost, communication? Your buyers are rating you on a scale of 1 to 5. Now, the more feedback you have, of course, one bad rating ain't going to hurt a whole lot in the long run. But as time goes on, eBay is measuring those things: account description, shipping speed, or accurate description, shipping speed, reasonable shipping costs, and communication. I'm looking at mine. I seem to have 5 stars on mine. I think that's very important, something that's really not even talked about, but it's there. Why is eBay measuring it?
How come you're missing the tip of your star?
Because I'm not quite at 5. I think it's just kind of off. And that's reasonable
missing
shipping.
The very, very tip of the last one.
I have 4.8 out of 5 on that, on reasonable shipping costs. And you know what? Because I charge my shipping extra over and above, like a lot of people out there, they still do free shipping, which I don't do for what type of item I'm selling. You're probably not going to get less than 5 stars over time. But to me, these are important ratings that they're not even discussed. These ratings provide more details about this member's performance as a seller. 5 stars is the highest rating and 1 star is the lowest rating. Okay. And then I think that's probably more important than just a random, feedback that you receive from somebody. That's just my opinion, though. What about your defects? How many of you guys go and look at your defects from time to time? You go into selling and then drop down underneath your stats where it says seller level. And of course, you may get top rated and you think that's all you need to worry about. But I wouldn't stop there. You click on the arrow and it'll tell you your defect rate. I have 0 defects right now. And I think you're not supposed to have anything more than 3%, actually, for defects, 0.50, which is not a whole lot if you're not selling a whole lot of items. So it's very important for everyone out there who's a serious seller to make sure that you are under that 0.5%. But really, even if I'm under 0.5% and I get a defect, I just don't know what it is. I tell you, I feel like it hurts my sales at least for a day or two. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I read into too many things. I'm sure many of you are going to put that in the chat, right? But I think there's some truth to it. Just various little things that we just overlook. What about your shipping? You set a certain amount of time to ship an item, and if you don't follow through with that, and you have too many what is considered lates, and that is you set a handling time. If you don't follow that handling time, then you're considered late. You don't get that initial scan from the carrier by that date you're supposed to ship that item, it's going to be a late. And thankfully, I mean, we have enough sales that can absorb a problem with someone coming to the house or not coming to the house. Maybe we miss a pickup and we just don't want to go 5 miles, in 5 minutes just to beat the clock to get something dropped off. So we absorb that. But again, I think that if you have lates, I think in a small way, it's not going to kill your sales. But I just think in a small way, you have all these things that eBay is looking at. I mean, this is just one of the things. I mean, not even talking about your listing, your price, your photos, your item description, your item specific, all the little things that eBay is asking you to do. And if you're ignoring your account health and you're fine with just barely being top rated and you're just hanging on, and I'm not even talking about top rated plus, that's another level altogether. And it could be argued that that's even better. But for me, I'm not offering free returns. So that's what's going to kill me on that. And that's some of my items I do qualify for top rated seller. So that's just my thoughts on that. I want to know what you guys think. Is it just something that's like, it's just a rating, it doesn't matter a whole lot? Maybe you think that other things are more important. And I think there's like your promoted rates, your price, I think your title, it's not as important as it was, but it's still important. Those are more important than maybe account health is up here. And then, I mean, depending on the various levels of account health, if you're above standard, your items are going to be really pushed down and suppressed. So for me, I think it's something that's not talked about enough, and people really need to be focused on knowing where you're at. I think that's the key. Know where you're at. I can tell you there's many times in the past where I've kind of sweated it out because I've had too many returns. But the good thing about having a everything store is that it's based on categories. So if you get 10 or more returns within a certain category, then you're compared to your peers if your return rates are too high. But because I have it spread out amongst a lot of different categories, so that's another thing you need to worry about is how many returns do you have, because that can affect your seller rating. So strive to be top rated if you can. What do we have here? We have a couple. Oh boy, we have Jovial Juggler. Thanks for the super chat. Who else can give to the ice cream fund?
Woo! We love ice cream. Well, he loves ice cream.
Me too. Yay for ice cream. What is the deal with ice cream? How did that come up?
I don't know. Is it National Ice Cream Day?
Is it? But thank you, Mike. I appreciate you too. What? I don't understand what I love ice cream, but I don't understand
he
how.
Loves ice cream.
I mean, I get a little bowl, and it's a small one. We make like the salsa bowls. We maybe get a scoop or two in there. We don't get the big honking bowls of ice cream. We don't do that.
No, we don't do that. But does he have ice cream every single night?
That's not true. I do not.
Unless we're out.
No, because I don't think I had it 2 nights ago. They don't
had it last night?
They don't give you enough ice cream in those containers. I mean, you get a lot less.
They don't give you enough in those.
Let's see. Mike, thank you for the super chat. And he says, hi, everyone. My sales have been slow lately, but I've been listing a lot of the electronics I picked up this week. So hopefully this will give me a boost. Many are high ticket items, $100 to $400 range. You're going to be killing it.
Yeah.
Right time of year, I think, to get these electronics, and nothing but the best to you. I think you're going to do well with that. Daniel Lesage from Baton Rouge says, hi, John, Jen, and FAE fam. No sales for a week, then 5 really small sales in 3 days, Tuesday through Thursday.
Well,
it happens at our other account where we don't get a lot of sales, and then out of the blue we get 2 or 3. It's very strange. You just got to keep putting the best practices forward and get good items in your store. That's really the key things there. Daniel says also says all my best to all of you, and Jovial, again, thank you for the super chat. Says, what's happening, FAE fam? And it is give someone $1 day. I'll start. John and Jenna need some ice cream money.
Okay,
That's where that came from. That's where that came from.
Give someone $1. That's cute.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Joe Samart says, hi, all. I was number 5 on the thumb up LOL. Sure you meant thumb up, right? But yeah. It's okay. We call it thumb up. Lissa says, howdy, all FA fam. Happy Friday already. Hope everyone is doing well. Thank you for being here. And Lisa. Andy says he's in Indiana in the house. How's my FAE family doing?
We doing all right.
We got Penny Pincher says eBay expanded its standard envelope for lightweight items. I heard about that, and honestly, I'm not sure if I can even utilize that. We did send out something today that was about 4 ounces. I'm sure that would actually qualify, but this is a pair of gloves, so I don't know if that would even work. It's a small little pair of gloves or little lightweight things. So for me, I'm not going to utilize the envelope option. Let's see. Flip It Good says, good evening. Thanks for being here. And Mike says, I scream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream. And you got that right.
That's right.
Best ice cream out there for texture is Tillamook. Maybe that's a Northwestern, I think, Oregon brand, right? Tillamook?
I don't know.
But, man,
Isn't Tillamook part of the cheese company?
I don't know. Someone correct me on that. Tillamook, to me, is the best overall ice cream. And then a lot of people out here swear by Bluebell. I think it's only okay. It almost has the texture of ice milk, so I'm not like just not all that with the texture.
Ice milk is not even ice cream.
Yeah. Mad Hatters. So we got Brett in the house. How's everyone? Happy Friday.
Happy
and
Friday.
We'll be seeing them on Sunday. Going to the Korean barbecue place thingy. So
which one? The one that we took Tyler to?
No, that was a Brazilian barbecue. This is Korean barbecue. Somewhere the other side of town. Mike says, take some deep breaths whenever you get stressed out.
Oh, yeah.
I agree with that. Today has been not really stressful, just been eventful. I mean, the day's gone by quick for me. Ping G's in the house. Hello, John and Jen and everyone in the chat. Thanks for being here. And then our buddy Kevin Hawthorne from Lakeland, Florida. How you doing? Soda City Flips. What's good, y'all? How's it going, chat? Saw your little costume that you put on the other day on the other podcast. And you look a lot like a friend of mine that I bowl with. You remember EB? You look a lot like him. Yeah. Henri Squaw says, howdy. Man, 3 got here quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it did. That's for sure. And how's your sales today, guys? Wondering how, I mean, as far as I have one return I have to deal with, which I will be dealing with after the show. Sales wise is not so hot. A little under $100. I'm hoping that, you guys can send me some like button vibes and maybe give me some sales. Couple $400 days back to back, Wednesday, Thursday. So I was looking forward towards having a good weekend. It's a little on the soon side. We can get some sales in here this evening, but I'm just out there listing, buying new stuff every day, and that's really all I can do. And it doesn't help that I'm taking a little fun day today either, but not as productive, but it is what it is.
Yeah, he almost missed shipping.
I did not. I had it timed out just right.
You did not. He came to the door and you probably shit your pants.
FedEx guy came here an hour too soon, and he had a package returned for me. And I said, yeah, it's not till 2. My window is 2 to 5. Oh, okay, I'll be back. Please do. And then I got on it. So I was on it. Bearded Picker said bad buyers should be charged a service fee. I think that bad buyers should, if we report them, if enough people report the same bad buyer, I think they should be put in timeout. Like if we get suspended, why can't a buyer be suspended? Now, that doesn't affect a buyer as much as it does a seller. I get that. But maybe just having the knowledge that they've been suspended a week because they violated this policy will maybe make them understand they can't do whatever it is that they've been reported. They've been reported numerous times for the same thing. Sherry Norton says, hello, everyone. Thanks for being here. Sherry. And Southern Talk says, I'm going to go ahead and hit that like button so we can get this party started.
That's right.
Yes, please. And then
start that party.
Our favorite hand model, Larry Todd, Silver Hair Stacker, says bad buyers need to wear big girl panties.
And we know a guy. We know a guy that sells them.
But what if you're a good buyer and you already wear big girl panties? Just saying. Just putting it out there. Mm-hmm. Callie Deb says, I hope sales have picked up for everyone. Anyone having trouble getting their sales notifications? Cha-chings are not working, and neither are the bell notifications, even though I've had sales. I don't know what to say, guys. I have my new iPhone 15, thanks, Beard, the Pro Max 512, so I can get more videos on here.
Yes,
and this thing,
I have mine too.
It's like it's playing like a little piano concert every time I get an email. And even it seems like the notifications for eBay the
I
sound
wouldn't know
notifications have
because
changed
I
a
haven't
bit.
gotten any sales.
I don't know. Beard says, I've got a lot of defects. I ignore those. I'm old. Well, we've accepted that, but we're not talking about you, Beard. We're talking about your channel. Not your channel, but not even your channel, but your store. Mad Hatter says, same here. Shipping is 4.8 and all others are 5-star. I love good feedback with a niche store. I have some great buyers who truly love the customer experience they get at my store.
That's amazing.
You know,
I love that.
If you think about it, okay, you're 4.8. I think that's pretty good. But what if you're at 4.5 and you have a lot of reviews? That's a lot of people that aren't giving you 5 stars. What is that telling eBay about you and your performance? I would think that maybe you have 2 similar sellers that have very, no negative feedbacks necessarily, but we're looking at, well, why is this person always ranked above me? It very well may be that eBay is counting a lot of these specific feedback categories that we don't even look at and pay attention to, but it's there. And really people don't talk about it much at all. Drummer, very important, John. I think so. But thanks for being here. Maya's with us, says I actually had the opposite experience. Got a defect a couple of weeks ago on eBay and it kicked off a great sales weekend. I did get the defect removed, though. It was the buyer's fault. I mean, that could be just coincidental. You've got good sales. I mean, getting a defect isn't going to kill your sales. It's kind of what I'm trying to say. Now, Tommy will say he'll drop whatever he's doing and call eBay endlessly if his sales drops for a reset and get a ticket put in.
Because that's a thing.
Well, that's just it. If you go back, rewind 4 to 5 years, that was a thing. It was a big thing. It was a thing where people were saying, call eBay and get your store reset. And that's why it's no longer a thing. I'm sure there is some kind of way to maybe do something like an end item sell similar that we do behind the scenes with eBay, just the flip of the switch. But they don't give it to us anymore because people were just abusing it. Gail says, hello, John and Jenna, plus the rest of the FAE family. Thanks for being here. And Charles Taylor says, I think them tracking reasonable shipping cost is a joke. If I click calculated, I have very little control over that label cost.
I agree 100%. Charles.
And another thing is if the buyer is able to leave that as your rating, right? Like they give you 2, 3, 4 stars. It's not a secret when you're putting calculated shipping. They know up front what that is going to cost them. They have the choice to not buy. Now, if there's a hidden fee, if maybe it was quoted 15 and it comes up 20, I can understand why they'd be a little peeved about that and why they would give you a marking under 5 stars. But to me, that's kind of unfair. If you're advertising a certain rate and they agree to it, whether it's high in their opinion or not, I get so many messages from potential buyers that say, you know what, I want this item, I got your offer, but the shipping is just too high. Can you do anything about the shipping? Well, first of all, why don't you try to ship a 20 by 20 by 10 package? Go over to FedEx directly, go to USPS and see what they charge you. Because you think my prices are high?
Yeah.
Try that. Because there's people that are doing that right now as we speak. They're getting sticker shock at the counter. Now, I'm passing on my eBay discounted rates to you. So because you're ignorant to the actual fact that retail shipping is much, much higher than what you're paying, I have to be affected by that in my rating. This doesn't seem right to me. Let's see. Tommy says, oh, the reset is a game changer. You have to call the secret line 867-5309. Oh, that's awesome. Brett says, I think being top rated is key. If you sell items others sell, having the Blue Star logo on the listing shows you are a more legit seller. 100% positive feedback gives confidence to brand new eBayers.
Absolutely.
I think so. I know that I look at it. And unfortunately, the last time I bought something, the person had perfect feedback. Now they only had 16 feedbacks. But at some point, you have to give someone a chance after they've achieved, good positive success as a seller. This particular time, I guess their bad habits caught up to them with me, and it wasn't a case of me just having high expectations on another seller. It was bad, and you guys saw it yourselves. Thankfully, I haven't bought another paper tape machine yet.
I haven't found one. I was looking on eBay.
Yeah, but we're gonna take our time. We don't have to buy it today. Just when we find the good price with a reputable seller, then I'll be more willing to do it again. Bearded Picker says, it is important to make sure your door is red on your store. People used to obsess with the color.
Your door?
My door is blue. Now, what is the significance of that? So I'm looking at my feedback, and I've got a blue door. Please help me understand.
And if you live in Vegas, you never want a green door.
That was a red door.
It's green.
Okay. Well, I don't know anything about that.
It's called the green door.
Larry Todd says, my sales are on fire. Best October ever, and November is keeping it going.
Sweet.
Awesome. I need to get November jumping here. We're at about 10% down since last month, so we need to get going.
Says there is no significance.
Okay. Biff says, being top rated is actually the minimum requirement of being a decent seller. I think so, but once you achieve that, you don't have to worry and obsess about getting top rated plus. I get a lot of people asking about, oh, do I need top rated plus? And to me, the trade-off for some sellers, it's worth it. But if you're selling heavy things, free returns just isn't worth it. With people changing their mind and all that stuff, I'm not interested in you changing your mind on, it just didn't feel right on your butt when you sat down in this toilet seat. Sorry, not working. Let's see. Brett says it was another great week here too. 3.5K in sales on eBay, up 11.2% on the month. 11K, that's good. First month on Grailed with 11 items sold for 1.4K. Q4 is here, woohoo. Yep.
Wow.
And I think it's kind of like a car salesman. You have your up and down periods, and for some, you have Q4 is like what makes up for the other months, like the summer months, which are bad. I'm hopeful that we could just keep it steady regardless of the season. Q1, Q4. I mean, in my opinion, the good summer sort of confirmed that was probably going to happen with my account. I wasn't counting on Q4 kind of taking a little slight dip. So that's kind of where we're at here. Fireball Flippers is with us.
Hi.
And
my gosh, I haven't seen you forever.
Yeah, Nina's girl's with us. Have you seen Nina? Nina's girl's with us, but Nina's not.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tillamook is fire. Cold Stone only, but it gets a little pricey,
Cold Stone is expensive.
And there's an extra level of I think diabetes waiting if you have too much of that. So for me, it's just small portions, and I'm not paying crazy prices.
Small portions.
This
man doesn't know what a small portion is.
And see, Tillamook is in Oregon. I was right.
It's from Tillamook, Oregon.
Got the Tilla going on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Ping G says for the ESE stickers, decals, patches, seeds were added as of 11/1/23. So the eBay standard envelope. So stickers, decals, patches, seeds were added. Okay. Seeds. Like I want to plant something.
Yeah.
Plant something good. PJ's Ecom 2050. That's a curious one. Ecom 2050. Greetings from Australia. Thanks, guys. We value and appreciate your hard work.
Aw, thanks.
Well, thank you for being here with us. It's
Australia.
It's in the morning now. It's Saturday morning. There's lots of things that you could be doing other than hanging out with us, but you're hanging out with us, and that's awesome. So thank you for being here. Mike Gertis says, hello. Yes, Tillamook is a cheese company, like the smooth texture of ice cream, but it makes me feel bad, so I stay away from it. Mike Caparelli says, I think it's all important for good sales. I try to stay on top of all metrics. For example, the day I went to the post office to deliver my sales, I forgot one item, so I went back to drop it off. No late delivery. Now, I am guilty of doing something like that. If it's one of those things where we're talking one item, they failed to come pick up, I will just write it off. Okay. And I'm guilty of that, knowing that you have 3% lates, and it hasn't hurt me that bad. I think it's once you really dip or get close to that mark is where you're really going to have some problems with your account. How are you doing on a happy Friday? Pretty good.
We are doing well.
Yeah, pretty good. And we have Mark Suddick says, how to eBay to remove the false negative feedback from the buyer who failed to return the item after opening a return case. So that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to remove that negative if they fail to return it. We want them to return it because eBay will more than likely remove that when you put in your negative feedback removal. Now, there's a way to maybe have it removed depending on what the buyer says to you in that feedback. Maybe it's something like they're complaining about the cost of shipping, right? Well, they agreed to the cost of shipping. They shouldn't give you a negative because they made a decision to buy your item and the shipping was high. Maybe in the messages, they had asked you for a partial refund and you said, well, no, please return the item. They opened a return but kept it. Well, I would point to the fact that they sent you a message asking you for a partial refund, and now you're stuck with the negative feedback. They may be able to remove it under under that argument. Soda City says, thanks for watching the podcast. I try to watch as many as I can, try to keep up with, whatever's going on with the community and all that. So yeah. AEIOU from eBay says, made it to alive, already got the like button pressed, so I hope you two can deliver the goods.
I'm sending it your way.
That's right.
Sending it your way.
Get that sale. Larry Todd's at 488, and he's a part-time punk.
He's a part-time.
But I'm willing to bet you had some pretty good things. I actually listed some good stuff today. Just waiting. Stuff historically that sold well for me is now up, so we're waiting to see what we can do with that. Maya says, my sales are not great this week. Mainly it's Poshmark down for me. eBay is a little up, but that's not saying much.
And
well,
Poshmark ain't doing great either.
Yeah, I mean,
we got a couple of sales, but
yeah, nothing crazy. Devon says, sales busy during the week. Mine were. Gail says, mine have been down all week. So now this is kind of important. What are you selling? Because see, one person can say, I'm not getting any sales. Another person can say, I'm getting great sales. And you are probably, I'd be willing to bet that you're probably selling totally different items. And like to know if you are having good sales, what are you selling? If you're having lower than desired sales, what are you selling? There's no shame in, I'm telling you guys I sell toilet seats, right? It can't get any worse than that. Nina's girl is so happy it's Friday. It's happy Friday. Nice. I mean, to me, as a reseller, I think a lot of the days sort of just blend together. So that's just my thought on that.
Beard.
I'm spending your money, LMAO.
Yep.
PJ Zcom says, hey, John and Jenna, high or low ticket items, what's been working best overall? For me, ever since February, it's been the higher ticket items. But if you ask someone like, say, Biff Boffo selling at a low ASP, but again, I'm not sure what kind of items Biff sells. It could be something that has a higher demand associated with it. And that's why he's able to sell those lower ticket items. So they're both different, low ASP, lower demand items. A lot of times they go hand in hand, but they don't have to. Duncan says, the channel, we're not talking about cooking in the kitchen. LOL.
No, we're not.
And Duncan also says, we may go for fish and chips for lunch later, but rain is coming, trying to get more listings up. They keep selling so fast.
Fish and chips, I just had those at
some fish and
restaurant
chips
the other day.
Yeah. Let's see. James Chapman says, sales are picking up for me. Had 6 sales a day for the last few days, not all on eBay, but most of them were through eBay. Now I have to add more stuff to my store. Yep. Mm-hmm. Got to keep replenishing the old stock, right?
Yep.
Larry needs a body reset. Larry Todd there. And Duncan says, do you guys in US change your clocks in this weekend an hour back?
We do.
I hit the like button twice for 2 sales. We actually gain an hour, right?
We lose.
No. Fall back, spring forward. So fall back. So at 2 o'clock, it becomes 1 o'clock. So we get to experience 1 o'clock again. We get an extra hour. Yes, we do. That's the good thing about losing daylight, I guess. Fall back, spring forward. So if you're going like in the spring, you're going forward. So at 2 o'clock, it becomes 3. So you lost that hour.
So we get to sleep in an extra hour.
Without knowing it, yeah. Beard says, yes, Duncan, we moved the clocks back dark and misery this weekend. It's going to be weird. Like right now is going to be dark on Monday. I think.
Not for us.
It's going to get dark about 4:30.
3:30?
Well, it's 3:30 now, but what I'm saying is our 3:30 now is going to really be 4:30 then. But it's still going to be 3:30 then. Make sense?
No, you're not making any sense.
No,
I don't want to keep talking about it. Let's keep moving on.
Well,
because you're not making sense. It's not going to be dark at 3:30 in Las Vegas.
No, but it'll be 4:30 at that time. But it'll still be.
It will not be dark.
It'll say on the clock 3:30, but it'll be 4:30.
Sir, it will not be dark.
You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Biff says, I counted an offer and some clown, or probably accepted an offer, and some clown accused me of playing games and threatened to report me to eBay. He got blocked.
Wow.
Yeah, if you're willing to get on the horn with eBay, go through, all the hoops to get someone on the phone just for someone to do nothing for you, then okay, go ahead and report me to eBay. Just Sally says they won't give you a 5 unless you offer free shipping.
True.
And that to me is,
which is BS.
That's not really, I mean, you could technically get 5 stars by having a fair price.
Could.
Well, you're always going to have someone that's going to give you a rating that's going to ding you because they had to pay for shipping. Okay.
Well, then if they're so butthurt about it, then they shouldn't be buying.
But let's say they sort your item by price. Okay. So you have a $20 item plus $15 shipping, right? They think, that's a little too high. Then go pay $40 for the guy who's actually including the shipping in their price, right? It just, to me, it just doesn't make sense why they, of all the ratings, you allow the buyer to judge you on something that they agreed upon. Yes, we change our clocks back at 2 a.m. on 11/4. No, it will be 11/5 technically. So it's early Sunday morning, late Saturday night. PJ says, hey, John and Jenna, what's your views on selling digital items, passing fad or future? I've never done it, like selling intangibles, something like a digital cookbook. In fact, I'm not sure eBay's really as for it as they used to be.
Yeah, it's more of an Etsy thing.
I was looking for, back in 2018, when I was trying to build up the secondary account from zero, I went on and bought like 10, 15 different digital recipes, why not? 99 cents a piece. And I got the feedback I was looking for. But I went to do that again recently. I wanted to buy something to see as a buyer what the feedback looked like. So I ended up buying a physical cookbook, a pizza cookbook of all things. And
it came in the mail.
Yeah,
I'm like, why do we have a pizza cookbook?
Because I wanted to buy something and I wanted to see what it was saying to the buyer and also see if I went through any problems as a buyer. And I couldn't find any digital recipes. So for me, I think that it's something that's frowned upon. Maybe there's too many chargebacks on it.
I don't think that it's an eBay thing. I think it's more for like Etsy. Etsy, they sell a lot of digital products.
Yeah. James says, I will hit top rated in a few weeks. That's good. Keep working it. Build your account health. That's very important. Tommy said, as far as the blue door, blue didn't work well for Kmart. Now that was the light. That wasn't the door. That was the light, the blue light special. Blue. Joey said, just make sure you don't have a red light on front of your house. Unless what? She didn't say anything. Christine says, favorite ice cream, University of Wisconsin's Babcock Orange Custard Chocolate Chip.
Ooh.
Orange custard chocolate?
That sounds so good.
I don't know. I got to tell you, my favorite ice cream is the Rite Aid, or it used to be Thrifty's double chocolate malted crunch. That is the bomb. Double chocolate malted crunch. Just always go there as a kid, and that's my go-to. But I can only get it when I go. Rite Aid's shutting down, aren't they? So who's going to have my Thrifty's ice cream now? Oh no, that's not good. Henri Squaw says reasonable shipping costs has the lowest number in all those. I do calculated all 4 of 5 stars, just different numbers. Yeah. But what can you do? I'm going to keep doing what I do. But there's some people who have the other ones that are lacking, and that speaks volumes, I think, of what your buyers are thinking about you and what eBay thinks about you through the eyes of your buyers, and how much of that are they holding against you. Nimi's Creation says, hello from Pakistan. Any good suggestions to increase sales ratio? And what product is worthy enough one to sell? Well, there's thousands upon thousands of products that are worthy enough to sell. You just got to go in and do your homework. You find an item, look up the comps, sold comps.
Make sure you're, of course, you're getting things that you have that you can get over and over again. Replenishables or things that are easily accessible within your area.
TerraPeak is your friend. Use TerraPeak. It'll go back as far as 2 years. And good suggestion to increase sales ratio is get rid of the crap items out of your store. The stale items, blow them out, get rid of them, put them on a secondary crap account like we have. And that does help as well. Let's see. Big Dre says, I'm sick and slacking. And a lot of people have been sick lately. Going to restart my markdown sale and coupons today. No sales on eBay this month. Well, we're only 3 days in. Sounds pretty dramatic when you say it that way. 3 sales on Mercari and Posh combined. So just, it's got to get better.
Just make sure you're taking care of yourself first.
I think like the day where things like a flip switches for a lot of people is like the 10th to the 15th of November. So let's hope we're not having this conversation here in a week and wondering, well, we're at the 10th. Why aren't the sales improving? Ren Gregory says, I got my top rated seller taken away. Contacted eBay about items that had sold previously showing up in my store. Buyers trying to buy. Rep said all was well. It was a tech issue. Whoop, not true. But eBay will never, and I've had this happen a couple years ago where we actually went through our inventory and found a bunch of items that were listed but no longer there. And you go back and look, they had already sold. And then also a bunch of items in our inventory that were no longer listed. So these things do happen behind the scenes because there's no actual timestamp or time associated with when all this happened. eBay really doesn't know anything but to blame you. They're certainly not going to blame a tech issue, even though we know what we've done, but eBay doesn't know if we're just a bad seller that's trying to blame eBay or if indeed it was a problem. Rhiannon says, hey all, thanks for being here.
Hi, Rhiannon.
And Duncan VR, John's pink hat. What does the M stand for? This is a Travis Matthew hat. It's a fairly popular golf brand. And when I look for hats, I either look for the Live Lucky or the Travis Matthew. Stephen.
Speaking of, you should probably be getting one in the mail.
I have one coming in the mail. I bought one off of Mercari with a little $10 off coupon they give you. I said, okay, well, why not? Buy one. I think bought one for like $15 plus shipping. So got one, another hat coming. Heidi, hi from 5-star figure seller. Heidi Hawaii? Is that the name, or Heidi Hawaii?
Heidi Hi.
Heidi Hi. Okay.
Heidi Hi.
From a 5-figure seller. Well, how are you doing, Stephen?
Don't read into it. Just keep on moving.
There's plenty of us out there, but 5 figures depends on your margin, what you actually get out of that. Duncan says, still waiting for them to get that pink Hello Kitty toilet seat. Maya says, honestly, my sales are probably down because I've been mostly declining and ignoring offers instead of countering like I should be. Not sure why. I think I'm just burnt out, not interested in haggling. Yeah, it's when you get that bad offer, it's very tempting to decline and even want to block because, you've insulted me. But even if 1 out of 10 of those bad offers come through as a sale, it's worth taking the extra steps of just, and maybe just put, look, this is my best offer. Please note, I'm not a seller that likes to haggle. This is the best offer I'm going to give you. And, some people may realize, okay, either it's fair or not. Either they're going to decline and move on, or they may just take it if they need it. Kelly Surf Dude says, I sell ephemera with a low ASP. I'm running a couple of markdowns and recently did an end. Sell similar. Sales are all right.
That's good.
Yeah, there are. I do know some ephemera sells people that have stores for ephemera and stuff like that, and it's been kind of hit and miss for many people. The problem is with ephemera, for a lot of it is to get the numbers you want. Like for me, it's like $500 a day. I'd have to sell a lot of it to hit those numbers. Not to say you can't sell it, but you really have to have. It's more of a volume game when you're dealing with that type of merchandise. Christina says, hi, all, happy Friday. John, could you please explain how the paper taper works? Well, you mean the
paper tape machine.
The paper tape machine. Beard is the expert on that. And it allows you to say, okay, I'm going to set different lengths. I have this roll of paper tape, and you could set different lengths depending on the size of the box. So maybe a 10 by 8 box, you'd have like a 12-inch to 14-inch piece, and you hit that, and it shoots out a piece of tape past a little mechanism that wets the tape, and you simply just place it, put it on firmly, and within seconds, it's there. And
it's the same tape that Amazon uses, their brown tape.
Yeah. Well, they use a branded tape.
Well, theirs is branded, of course, but it's that brown paper tape, and I've been really wanting one. So,
right.
Scott likes to just spend our money,
Well, we'll get one eventually, but you ever tape a box together and the tape just wants to flop up on the sides? It doesn't stick very good, and you're like, what the hell? Paper tape doesn't do that.
Because some of the boxes that we use, these items are used, and the boxes have been around and around and around, God knows how long.
Yeah.
And so some of these boxes have so much like debris on them from shipping that the tape does not stick anymore.
Right.
And so you have to place a piece of tape over, but then you have to go around it to make sure that those little flaps don't come up.
So ultimately, it's going to save you time.
Yeah.
If I was watching a video today, I don't know how or why it came up. I was on Facebook, of all platforms, but I'm looking for some forums and discussion stuff on there. And there's a video showing an employee at Amazon. They have a product come up, and then it shows you how they box it. And they were so fast and efficient. They knew exactly the size for the box. They knew exactly what box to grab. I mean, if you're doing hundreds a day, I guess after a while you'd be pretty proficient at it. But the dealing with tape guns and tape sticking to itself and wrapping multiple layers of tape. To me, I think it's probably going to save you money in tape over the long run.
Time.
Yeah.
Time is a big issue.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some days on large, let's say Mondays, when I'm starting the shipping on a Sunday night because I know it's going to be a lot. And it's time consuming using so much tape. So I want to be able to be a little bit more efficient and get it done quicker.
Jacqueline says, good evening. I hope everyone's doing good. Have an amazing fun money making weekend.
Woo!
And speaking of fun money making weekend, I need to see about maybe running to the yard sales in the morning. Didn't even think about it.
I have a haircut appointment.
Oh, okay. You're gonna do that? What time is it?
11:30.
Oh, I'll be back well before then, so we'll be good. I'll be playing the horses by the time you even think about going. Let's see. Beard says, I have to run to the storage building, talk about ice cream for 8 minutes. Well, what's going to happen is you're probably back by now. We're going to be catching up.
Yes.
To your comment. Ren says, metrics say above average for now. They have sent me a message. They are looking into it. In 72 hours, I could have top rated back.
Well, let's hope so, because that's disheartening.
The thing that sucks about that is I'd rather that 72 hours be during the middle of the week than the middle of the weekend.
Right.
But Jeff says, hi, John and Jenna. And folks, the last few days in Tallahassee has been sweater in the morning and T-shirt by noon. Same here. I was telling Jenna about that. We get up and it's like, I guess I got to throw this beater sweater on to go out in the garage. And it's because it's nippy out there. And by the time afternoon rolls around, it's like it's time to take it off because I'm sweating my butt off. So Tommy, 800 on eBay, 400 on Posh so far today. Decent so far. We specialize in 18th century soiled jock straps. Hey, that could be a thing. I haven't. Remember, we did the whole fart in the jar thing. That's a thing. So
it is a thing.
you know, ketchup packets from different restaurants. You'd be surprised the stuff that sells on eBay. Duncan says I should not have mentioned changing the clocks back. It's all right. She needs to know why she's, you know, sleeping a little extra long on Sunday morning. And we have a lunch time with Brett that we have to make sure we are on time for. And if we don't have the clocks right, we're going to be all screwed up.
Well, the clock will turn by itself.
Yeah, well, it's got to make sure. Nimi's Creation says, what would you suggest someone who wants to expand her business on eBay, but someone already advised me to not create an account on eBay in Q4 because it's high suspension rate? Well,
suspension.
Okay. So when you say high suspension rate, I'm already thinking that you're selling things that are kind of questionable. So what are you selling? I guess that is question number one. If you're just someone that's starting an account, wanting to resell for the first time, and you're going to just maybe sell stuff out of your house or whatever first, go to yard sales and get stuff. Doesn't matter what time of year you open your account. I think this is probably better than ever. Q4, more people are buying, historically are buying in Q4 online than any other time of year. So I think it's certainly never too late to get started. Let's see. Joe says, I'm retired, so I don't worry about the time except to watch FAE. Well, that's awesome. You know, that's really cool to hear where people take, and a lot of you, I know who you are. You guys, there's probably about 20 to 30 of you that are almost every episode. You are here, regardless of the topic. Maybe there's nothing to talk about, but you guys are here showing your support. And I want to thank you guys for that. That's really cool. Jovial sold a pair of shoes through eBay authentication. Didn't want to, but eBay won't allow you to change if shoes qualify. One little trick that I've learned, though, you can, I got this pair of used shoes. There's blemishes on there. And if you forget maybe one blemish, maybe the photos show it, but you haven't really highlighted, well, maybe there's a problem with the shoelace, or maybe there's a nick here or whatever, then it can be rejected through authentication. Now, what you can do to get around that is to what I found that works, price your items to start under $75. So $74.99, right? And usually that will present that listing as a standard listing, and it won't require the whole authentication thing. And I'm not saying that to price it so it comes out at under 75 after your markdown sales. That's when you first initially make the listing. That's what I found, at least. Jovial says international shipping is turned off. Had to pay an extra 1.6% fee because the shoes are going to Mexico. What? Well, okay. You have buyers that are deemed as international if their default address is an international address. They could be living in the United States and you're shipping it to them in the same city. You're still going to pay that 1.6% rate regardless. So you're dealing with a buyer who's registered outside the U.S.
Like shipping address?
They're like my home
billing address?
Well, their home address, the address they use to register on eBay. So let's say they live in Europe, and let's say in the summer they're out here in the United States, and they order something on eBay US to their address in the United States. Because their registered address is in Europe, they're an international customer. Even though you're shipping it domestically, you're paying that 1.6% fee. I think it sucks. Stupid. Should be based on where you're shipping it.
Yeah.
But if you are shipping it to Mexico, then yeah, that's just part of the program. Tommy says, are they going to freight forwarder in the U.S. than Mexico? It goes by billing address, not shipping. Yep. And Ping G says, I believe you are being charged for the currency conversion. So that's just it. If there's no currency conversion, and our dogs are in here again, so I apologize.
Chewy is just really needs love today.
I don't think it's a currency conversion. I just think it's eBay's lazy way of just adding an extra fee of 1.6%. They have it based on the billing address, like Tommy said.
Go.
Yeah, these dogs. Can you take them outside, please? Please. I don't want them in here while I'm doing live. No, I just lost an hour of sleep. That's how I look at it. But you don't lose an hour of sleep in the winter. You only lose it in the spring. You get an hour of sleep in the spring and in the winter. Just Sally says, John, I know you don't like auction listings, but I changed my clothing store to auctions. I only have 93 items in my store, and I had 5 sales a day, all auctions. My net was the same as with promoted. Okay, so I don't sell a lot of clothing. The kind of items that I sell don't do well with auctions. Now, I know there's another YouTuber who gave me hell because I said auctions are dead. But for me, auctions are dead. For the type of stuff that I sell. Now, I have some clothes that I do sell. And maybe there's a trick that you can use to utilize shipping, or not shipping, but listing the item close to your ideal price as the starting point. Because eBay does give I think within the last 12 hours, auctions that are ending, they get a boost, right? And I think that's playing the system. And maybe that's something to look into if you're a clothes seller to make that work. But for me, it's never been something that has worked since selling those military items that I sold last summer. And again, that's why it's one person like me can get up here and say it just doesn't work. But that doesn't mean it's not going to work for you. I can come up here and say sales suck, but that doesn't mean that sales suck for you. I think it's really, if it boils down to it, it's category specific. What category, what kind of items are you selling? And we're going to be talking about this here tomorrow on the eBay Power Hour podcast. There's so many different ways you can succeed on eBay that, if you're just taking what I say and putting it into practice and you're selling in a totally different category, it may not work. I mean, aside from the basics, we're talking about your account health, good listings, good photo, all the best practices, that should remain stagnant no matter what you're selling. But how you go about getting the sales, if it's working for you, double down on it. Keep going and make that work. But even though you're having success with that, I'm not going to put these toilet seats on auction. I'm just not going to do it. So it really depends on what you're selling. No matter what we're talking about, I think category has to be a big part.
Bin that we have.
Yeah, category has to be a big part of the discussion. Tommy says if the person's account address is not in the U.S., even though the shipping address is, you still pay the international fees. Yes. And Thomas Moran says, do you guys think that now people are having to pay student loans as of last month will make much difference in sales? In the UK, we have a crisis because a mortgage, some have gone up £15 a month, £1,500 a month. Yeah, it's going up even in the US. I don't think I've heard it go up that much. No. But student loans. People have been used to not paying a certain bill, and now they have another bill that, with less income, maybe they're out of work. Yeah, it's going to be tough for them to have expendable income to buy your items. Rain says, hi, everyone.
Hello.
Thanks for being here. And then Just Sally says 93 items, clothing store, all auctions, 5 sales today. The net was the same as promoted at 10%. Buyer got the deal. There you go. So whatever it takes to move your items. Bottom line, it's about how much money is going into your account, whether you're doing daily deposits or weekly deposits. How do you get that number? How do you maximize that number? And so your strategy, I think, is going to be dependent on what you sell. That's going to help you get there. It's a strategy that you can use that I probably would totally fall flat on my face with if I tried. Mike says, simply place the minimum best offer you're willing to take. Yeah. And that would be one thing that you could do for like an auction, like Sally's talking about. Put the lowest amount that you're willing to take. If you're doing shipping on top, which I'd recommend, and maybe you don't have to do that either, but that's what I would do, and just go with it.
I think he was meaning more on the buy it nows.
But you can apply that to the auction, thing. But for me, auctions are dead. Duncan says, I use auto decline and auto accept. It still does not stop the buyer messaging me to try to get it cheaper than my bottom price, but auto decline stops the low ballers. Mm-hmm. But it stops the conversation too. So, even if it's a very small percentage, I'm saying 1 out of 10, that's 10%, is getting one extra conversion a month maybe you get 10 offers like that in a month. Is one extra sales conversion a month worth the effort that you have to take for the other 10 bad offers that you get? For me, it is. But I don't mind doing it. It doesn't take that long. Real quickly type in on my phone where my bottom line is, send it off. And, sometimes you get surprised. You'd be surprised. Like, wow, I didn't think this low baller was going to come through and take my offer, but here we are. Devon says, I got a box with paper tape and it's strong. Yeah,
it is very strong. Yes.
Try when you get those Amazon boxes to peel off the paper tape that they put on there.
In the neck.
And it just rips, right? And it looks professional too. You get a box of tape that just has gobs of tape on it. That doesn't look all that professional. But if you have one single strip of paper tape on there, it just, you're setting you have a presentation. When you send someone something for the first time, they don't know you from Adam. So everything may have gone well up to that point.
Bob.
And, huh? Oh, I didn't even hear what you said. Everything, well, because I'm in the middle of talking and I'm trying to form a thought here. So everything you've done up to that point might be perfect. But then you deliver this sloppy package like the one I received, and it's like, what the hell, right? So it all goes out the window. Brandy Vasquez says, I use a lot of used boxes. The only tape that works for me is Scotch tape. It goes on sale at Costco often. Like Scotch tape? Like the Scotch tape? Scotch tape? That's
maybe it's a thicker for
maybe like the brand.
The brand
okay.
Scotch tape.
Okay. I would say anything that's under 2 inches in width. She likes a 3-inch gun. I mean, I use it. It's cool. It's not the end of it's not as hyped up as she's made it to be.
Oh, yes, it is.
But I'd say anything.
The quality of tape that American Bubble Boy provides is like no other.
That's correct. But I'm saying between 2-inch and 3-inch.
They
sell both kinds at American Bubble Boy. And to me,
she said Scotch heavy duty.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, the ones the 3-inch is a huge difference when you're dealing with large packages.
Yeah.
You don't have to use as much. I have it down to a science.
Right. Tommy Bernard says, Duncan, I put every description. Do not message me about price, offer, shipping, or it'll be ignored. It's a great buyer IQ test. When they message, it's auto block. Nothing worse than dummies. That's great. That's great. Silver Hair says, Beard uses paper tape to keep his van running. Maya says, I have offer thresholds on eBay and on Mercari. I price for their 25% off thresholds. Poshmark is the one that doesn't have thresholds.
Right.
Patricia, thanks for being here. Amazon shipping computer stations calculate what size box or padded envelope they grab. Okay. With that said, though, it is efficient. Watching these videos, it's like, wow. I only could wish at some point I'm half as efficient as that person was, because they were really fast. Maya says, I did get one sale from an offer I declined, where the buyer came back with my original offer. And that's weird, right? For them to, you decline an offer and they don't come back with something that's short of where, unless you have a message saying, look, this is my lowest one. They might read it and they might say, okay, that's fair, and I'll offer that to you. So it's possible. Be Unstoppable says, hey, from Alabama, I appreciate all the good content. Looking forward to garage sales tomorrow. Anyone else getting up to hustle at 6? I think I am. I really think I am.
I'm not.
You're not, but I am. Tommy says, we can't stop freight forwarding. There is hundreds of them. We probably have 10 just in Delaware. I ship to them almost daily. Good thing is only responsible to forwarder. Yes. Right. So if you happen to ship it to a forwarder, and then weeks later, that person in Europe or wherever they're at gets the item, and they contact you and they say, well, we received this and it's all jacked up, right? Well, if they want to open a return, that's fine, but they better get it to that freight forwarder, because that's where the label is going to be coming from. I'm not going to give you a label from Europe to send it to me. You're not responsible for that. And that's where a lot of people lose out. So if I could sell all my stuff to a freight forwarder, I would certainly do it. I'm good with that. Maya says, I used to decline just low balls, but now for some reason I just find myself wanting to compulsively hit decline even on offers that really aren't low balls. Then I'd say if you're in that mode, you probably should shut it off. I mean, it's just going to drive you crazy. It's an extra thing that you don't want to be dealing with. But if you want some more sales, I get more sales, probably 15 to 20% are just from offers I receive, not only in the morning when I wake up, but throughout the day. Tommy says, so once it leaves forwarder and goes to another address, they've avoided seller protection. Yes. We have U.S. postcards, sports cards in the house. Says, cheers to both of you. I'm excited because due to listening to you both, I took the plunge and opened a second eBay store to sell more sports cards. It's fun to start a store from scratch again. Mm-hmm. Yes. So I hope it works out for you. You know, maybe go in and take the stuff that's been sitting in your main store and just move it to another store and just focus on that main store on selling good stuff. Tommy says $75. I mean, I priced 75 out of 85 at $74.99 to avoid. Yeah. I've done that before and it's worked. Any advice on balancing two stores? We have one store with like 500 some odd items and the other one's under 200. And for me, it's more about your ASP. So I'm looking at, do I have this item have at least $20 ASP in it plus shipping, because I'm not counting my shipping in that. And if it doesn't, then I put it on the secondary store. That's kind of how I work. Now, of course, you're going to have a secondary store full of crap and stuff, and that's fine. You know, people are searching for my items in that store. I'm hoping they're searching for it by price more than best match. That makes sense, because I know I'm not going to get because my sell-through rate in that store isn't great at all. I'm not going to get a boost like I get in my main store. Big Dre says, international buyer requested return while the item was still in transit. eBay said not to worry, I'm covered, but do you think it's a scam? I'm considering blocking the buyer. Well, if it's eBay international shipping, so not sure if it is or not. Did you ship it to eBay? eBay accepted it and then shipped it to the buyer. If that's the case, I want buyers like that all day long, because I'm covered once eBay gets it and ships it. Okay. Yeah. Don't block that person. Now, if it's somebody that you're shipping on your own international, then it gets kind of squirrely because you don't have the same level of protection. Because eBay said that you're covered, it almost tells me that you shipped it to eBay first and you're covered, and don't give it a thought. Just move on. Mm-hmm. And if they send you a message, tell them they would need to contact eBay and they can give them their options. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Duncan says, I've been doing auctions for years, but I have the right type of items and large enough following. Yeah. You also, from that statement, I can tell, sell within a niche, and you have buyers that come back and look at your goods probably before they look anywhere else when they're on eBay. And that's something I'll never have with the type of store that I have. And like I've said many times, if you can sell within a niche and pull it off with consistent sourcing, good prices, of course. I mean, the last thing you want is that one source you have to jack up the prices to make it not profitable anymore. But if you have good sourcing and maybe more than one places to go to get that stuff, then that's the way to go, is to niche on something that actually has good sell-through and previous solds. And then you what's happening now? Okay, sorry about that. All right, let's say Big Dre says, yes, thankfully I keep the profit, but I'm wondering if this is some sort of scam to try to get a free item. Will eBay only give them a refund if the item is returned to them? Not sure what eBay does. I would think that because the item is en route, they'll give that buyer an option to return it if they have to, because eBay loves returns, right? They love the idea of you as a seller offering free returns. So why wouldn't they offer returns to the buyer with a smiley face? So that's on eBay. But once they tell you you're covered, move on and do more of it. Tommy says, I can almost guarantee soiled toilet seats will have a bidding war. It depends on whose soil it is. Ew. You have to have a certificate of authentication. Ping G says, I think it depends on the item, whether eBay wants the item back or if they will refund without return of the item if using EIS. I think so. Bearded Picker says, tonight, going to knock out some shipping after my live show using the paper tape machine in FAE's honor. Yes. And, we got to do...
Instigator is his main name.
Beard, we got to do a better job of trying to sync up your live show to mine so we can do a raid.
You said this last time.
I know, but he just didn't get back to me to maybe
because he doesn't need our
maybe
raid.
I need to go.
He doesn't need our raid.
I'd like to help in any way I can. I'm just that way. Scott's a good guy, and if
he is a good guy, I'm not saying that.
Do me a favor, guys. This is what I want you to do. We are probably going to go for like another half an hour or so, but what I want you to do is, as soon as we're done, take a break, a mental note that you're going to go on to
7 p.m.
7 p.m. Okay.
So 4, 5, 6.
Well, 7 p.m. Scott's time. That's Central Time. And so that piggybacks perfectly with the end of this live. So just remember, when we're done here, go over to the Bearded Picker channel and hang out. All right. Tommy says, an extra inch changes lots of things in this world.
It sure does.
I mean, talking about just sports, right? Give my horse an extra inch on his nose. I would have won an extra $600 on a bet that I made, but it just didn't have the nose that I needed to have. Sponsored by American Bubble Boy. Yes.
That's right.
Sponsored by American Bubble Boy. They're awesome. Joel is awesome.
Joel is amazing. I literally sat and talked to Joel on the cruise in Cincinnati for over an hour, and we're talking about the tape guns.
But don't forget, because this is the time of year where people are going to use more of it than any other time of the year, and that is your bubble mailers and your poly mailers. Check out the link down below with Gyro Pack, and you're going to get 10% off, and they got the best prices anyway. And
the best quality.
Good stuff. We use it, not as much as we used to because of the larger items, but on the secondary store, we're using that quite a bit. Brian says, I use Scotch brand shipping tape as well. Sticks good, but you're going to pay more for Scotch. Yeah. And the stuff at American Bubble Boy, they have a hard time even keeping in stock. If you go check it out, like the 3-inch cases, I can't even, at least unless they've stocked up recently, I have to buy the 18 packs or the 6 or 18 packs just to get any of it. But they have good prices compared to what you're going to get with Scotch. Just Sally says, I agree. It depends on what you're selling, but my sales were in the gutter and promoting at 10%. Maybe I should keep my strategy to myself. FYI, I don't find trendy, high demand clothing in my area. No, don't keep it to yourself. I mean, unless you just don't want to share with other people. But if you feel like, I'm disparaging it, I'm not. I'm saying that what works for me may not work for you. And if it's working for you, double down on it. That's the bottom line. For me, I could come out with a video tomorrow saying, guys, auctions suck. Don't do them. And that shouldn't compel you to do anything other than what's working for you. And I'm a big believer, if I had a lot of clothing coming in, that for me, that might be the way to do it, right? You're almost, if you can get that one buyer to take your minimum price, then you've assured yourself of a sale within 5 to 7 days. So there's pros and cons to it, but it's not for every category is what I'm saying. Maya says, yeah, I got the eBay tape last time with one of my store coupons. Worst reselling mistake. The white coloring comes off my tape dispenser. We have it. I bought the blue and the different colored ones, right?
Yeah,
we haven't gotten to those yet.
We haven't gotten to those yet.
Those are going to be our special Christmas ones.
The white stuff, but the white stuff, yeah, it's not the best quality at all. I mean, shoot, if Joel could come out with something like that, colored tape, that would, I don't know.
No, there's no need, Joel. If you're listening, Joel, just stock up your 3-inch tape so we can buy cases of it, not a little bit at a time.
I want to know how that tape gun, 3-inch tape gun, is coming along.
Maya says, maybe I'll try American Bubble Boy tape then. I got their bubble wrap before, and I didn't find it that much better than other bubble wraps for the amount of praise they get. But the thing I like about American Bubble Boy, bubble wrap is I don't have to go out to, like before it was Office Depot and I hope they have a 2-for-1 special. I have to go get it, bring it back. I can just see that I'm low on bubble wrap and then place an order. They have a free 2-day shipping. And usually it takes just 2 days to get to you. And their prices, considering that they built in the shipping into the price, their prices are really, really reasonable. And so I say that because we use them exclusively now. And it's not because I'm getting a kickback. In fact, I don't think, other than the stuff that they've sent me, I don't think I've even, maybe I've earned a few bucks in affiliate stuff by you clicking the link down below. But I haven't tried to cash out or even looked at it, to be honest with you. Maya says Costco would be a good idea too, though maybe I can get it with my parents' membership. We just got a Sam's Club that we just renewed. Steven says, I called eBay to request a return, but they said, sir, wives are non-returnable. Well, I hope you're not buying them on eBay. That's the first thing. Mail order services. I don't think eBay has one yet. Maya says, Jovial, I'm going through the same with eBay tape. Only one roll left. So tired of pulling out the white gooey residue off of the tape gun in between every roll.
And also, too, what I noticed with the white eBay tape is that if you're using a not so great tape gun, it will eat up that roll of tape in a hot second.
Yes.
You have to get a better tape gun. These red tape guns suck ass.
Pet peeve, guys. And this is what I do. You gotta do this. I like to take a piece of tape. I don't like this little thing here, this tab, because you got to press down and before you can cut it. So I will, and sometimes it comes loose. So I will take a piece of tape. Higher. Take a piece of tape, put it kind of diagonally here, and pull the tab and tape it to the side of the gun. So it keeps the tab pulled and it keeps the little teeth here exposed. You can't even see it, but I have it done like that. So it pulls the tab, keeps the teeth exposed. So now I don't have to push down on it. It's already done. And it's done. You don't have to really play with the tape.
Yeah, because we have a set of, we have the 3-inch gun that is the better gun itself. And then one other one for the 2-inch tape. And the white handled guns are way better. But we did just get Joel sent us the 2-inch tape gun. And I really like that one too.
Yeah. So, and another thing also is that if you're building a business here, I want you guys to know this is really good. Duncan says, I source my niche from half a dozen people and I have 10 years of backstock. Plus over 1,000 regular repeat buyers. You have a business for life right there. If you have 2 of those 6 people decide to go out of business or not offer you product, you still have 4 other people you can go to. You have a lot of stuff you can fall back on if sourcing gets kind of dried up. And to have all that clientele that's looking to buy from you, to me, that's perfect. If you could build a business like that, that's really awesome. Vet Junkies says, I just started eBay. They take so much in eBay fees and it's tricky with shipping. When I list an item, they ask me if I want to pay them $7 more for your listing to be seen more. No, that's okay. If they're saying, okay, we'll charge you $7 and we'll show your item in front of more people. That sounds like an auction. The eBay Promoted Listings Express is what it's called. And I don't like that because there's no guarantee your item will sell. You still will be on the hook for $7. If your item, it should be contingent with your item selling. And that would be, I think, a little bit more acceptable. But with eBay Promoted Listings Express, you're on the hook for $7, whether or not you get one bidder. Now, on eBay Promoted Listing fees on fixed listings, you've got to figure out where you need to be. Anywhere from, I'd say, 3% on up to the asking price. I back mine back down to 10%. There's a lot of people that swear by 5%. But as you get experience, you're going to figure that out. Now, you can argue and say eBay fees are so high, but the standard rate, 13 point, I think 13.25% or whatever it is, plus 30 cents. That's cheaper than if you sell it on Mercari. That's cheaper than if you sell it on Poshmark. That's cheaper if you sell it on Amazon. Now, I think by bringing it up to, an extra 5%, you're still a little bit under those platforms. If you get towards 10%, now you're a little bit over. And is it worth it? I think if it boosts your sales as a result, it's certainly worth it. But you're going to have to do a little trial and error. As you get started, you're going to learn what works for the type of item you're selling. Some items you don't have to promote. Look to see in the solds how often your item's been selling, and also look at the actives to see how many people are selling the same thing you are. What does your competition look like? Jim says, does ending and sell similar truly work?
Mm-hmm.
You can ask Tommy. Tommy says he does it every day. I don't advocate going that far. Hey Fro Sells channel does it every 4 days. I do it once a week. Do I need to do it twice a week? I have the listings to do it. I might just do it. But I think it truly works. It's funny. I made a change, and I think I may have mentioned this on Monday's video, but maybe I didn't. I had for about 5 days, all my items, I ended the items sold similar at the suggested rate plus 0.1. And my sales last weekend just were crap, weren't very good at all. This last week, I think it was like this last Monday or Tuesday, I went in and I changed it back to 10% max. And my sales went up. What does that say? It's hard to say. Maybe if I would have left it alone, I would have had even better sales throughout the week. But I'm thinking that, here I am playing eBay's game, offering more money to get more views. And that's all you're doing. You're getting more eyes on your item. That's not guaranteeing any more sales. And what did it do for me? Didn't do a whole lot, but it's a small sample size. Like I said, maybe if I would have left it alone, it would have showed me differently.
Tommy says, I don't do it every day. LOL. I do what's ending today. So every 30 days, whole store is refreshed.
Yeah. So he has items ending every day. So it may be that he's doing like a handful every day. I get that. Duncan says, when you're done here, I'm going for the fish and chips lunch. Sounds good.
That sounds yummy.
And Beard says, 2 more inches, I would have been a king, 2 less, a queen. So what are you then? Just want to know, what are you calling yourself? Jovial says, did you just say an extra inch on a nose? Yes, my horse.
On the horse's nose.
Literally, I had the superfecta picked, where the winner, which was 23-1, then the second place finisher I had, and the third place finisher, I had them finishing 4th, but I didn't have them finishing 3rd, and they only lost out by that position by literally a nose.
Scott
and
says
he's the peon.
He's the peon.
He's the joker. He's the joker. Hill Valley Vintage says, I hope you don't plan on betting on the Raiders game this weekend.
No.
It's going to be a miserable game to watch, but go Giants.
Yeah.
Got news for you. They're going to have a different attitude when they walk out on that field with that new coaching staff, and Raiders are going to beat them, and they're going to cover the spread as well. I don't know who's the favorite, but I will be looking at that.
I am just so happy about the recent events with the Raiders.
Yeah. So it's going to feel a lot like your game against the Jets last weekend. And I'll just leave it at that.
Wow.
Bearded Picker says, I need to reach out to Joel to get an affiliate link. Met him in Cincinnati. He's a good guy.
You met him in Cincinnati because I told him about you.
Yeah, he is a good guy.
You're welcome.
He is a good guy, and it's cool. They send out little things to their affiliates, and really, to be honest with you, I would be talking about bubble wrap, the American Bubble Boy bubble wrap, and all the stuff they have to offer, whether or not I had an affiliate link. Because, like I said, I haven't.
Joel is a great human,
and made that may be my own doing, because I haven't looked at it, but they haven't paid me a dime yet, and I might have a balance there. I don't know, but I haven't received anything. Patricia, so starting those rolls of tape makes me nuts. I can never get a fingernail under the end of a new piece of tape roll.
Yeah. I use a box cutter knife to get that little tab.
But this here, it's my go-to tape is the brand that they use, and there's a little white starter. I don't have it with me.
I'll get it.
Oh, I have it right here. Not going to. So you got this little starter there. It tells you where to go. You just pull it up. It's good tape, guys.
I just use a box cutter, just the tip of it, and
wouldn't tell you that if it wasn't the case. That's for sure. Christine says, does an extra inch make all the difference? Heck yeah, I'm sure I can read. I am sure if that as I'm sure that the Tin Man has a sheet metal. Okay. That's why I couldn't read it. Bearded Picker says, Joel asked about paper tape. I hope I convinced him to carry some.
I hope so too.
Yeah. I just don't like the whole branded thing. You know, I don't really want it to say, you know, American Bubble Boy on it. I don't want it to say eBay. I just want it to be just brown paper tape.
Yeah.
Let's see. Vet Junkie says, Ping, should I stop using USPS flat rate boxes so much? I mean, if it's saving you money on shipping, I wouldn't stop. No. Mike says, I buy Scotch tape rolls at Costco, but I find it still pops up and doesn't stay in the box best. Yeah.
It's best if you take tape to stick to tape. So if you have to say you're taping something, you know, you're taking a piece of tape, and what can I tape? So you take the piece of tape across the box.
Oh, that's an ugly thing.
Across the box.
It's all broken up.
You add another piece of tape to tape the tape to each other, if that makes sense. You want the tape to stick to the tape, not the box, if that makes sense. I mean, yes, it has to stick to the box initially, but if you put another one to secure the tape on the tape, it will stick.
Okay, and that's your tape tip of the day.
Mad
Hatter's Boutique says, I get Uline tape, Uline boxes, Uline poly bags. They're one of the best, great for local SoCal with delivery next day. Yeah, I think they come out of San Bernardino over at Uline. Just order a lot so it makes it worth the delivery fee. But that's the problem.
Okay.
They have good prices on their boxes. But I find that their shipping is quite high. I'm not that far. I'm in Vegas from their local facility. It's usually next day for me. But by the time you apply that shipping, it's like, I guess, you know, but you're not happy about it. Brandy says, we did get old school tape guns at estate sales. Even though they're 20 plus years old, they work amazing. Yes.
Yeah, some, and like this one, terrible.
eBay has paper tape. I just don't like the logo that's on it.
The ones that we have at my shipping station, those work, because once they don't work anymore and they're tired and they're got their issues, I won't use it anymore.
So Vet Junkie says, so you lose buyers if you just use ground ship thing instead of offering priority mail. I mean, for me, I use ground shipping, FedEx ground all the time. It really boils down to this. I think your buyers don't care whether it has a priority mail label or FedEx UPS ground label on it. When is it getting here? And
they don't care what the mode of transportation is. They just want to know, when am I going to have it in my hand?
Honestly, when I'm buying on Amazon, because I buy mostly on Amazon than eBay, I'll just be honest with you. I am looking at how fast am I going to get this thing? And if it's going to be a couple bucks more to get it to me tomorrow versus in 3 or 4 days, I pay a few bucks more to get it. And I don't bother myself with what carrier they're using, as long as it's going to get here. That's just me, though. Tommy says, Mike, because tape isn't made to stick to boxes, it's made to stick to tape. Make the tape connect to each other. It'll never pop up again.
Boom. Just like that, Tommy.
Okay. Creator of Thrift says, the purpose of the tab is to rub the tape as it's out on so it secures it better. I have 2 of the red. Love. I've had them for years. Oh, this tab here?
Yeah. We we know how it's
It
supposed
just
to
popped
work.
up.
We know how it's supposed to work, but sadly, this one doesn't do that.
I don't have good success with these. I'm like pushing
He's
down.
very
I'm like,
rough
okay.
on these little guys, and they don't have a chance when it comes to him.
Yeah. Let's see. Beard doesn't use a bunch of bubble wrap since I have an air pillow machine that I use to make air quilts.
Yeah.
We initially, this is back in 2019, we actually bought one of those things.
Yeah.
And I didn't like it because when you go to look for the replacement air bubble rolls, I guess what you call them, those things are so expensive. So compared to the bubble wrap, is it really going to save you money? That's what I want to know. I mean,
I have to use a lot of pillows then, because I use a lot of bubble wrap.
Yes, I agree. Antonio Pierce, I think he's going to give them the attitude that they need. We'll find out tomorrow with the games. Not tomorrow, but Sunday with the games. Midwest Picker says, shout out to my wife, Marcy, for putting up with me. She is listening. Well, Marcy, good job of keeping up or putting up with Midwest Picker.
Shout out to Marcy.
I think Midwest Picker's a good guy. He hasn't given me any problems, right? But who am I to give an opinion on that? Silver Hair says, starting a new tape roll, only talked about in reseller chat. Montezuma says, be careful selling expensive items and using promoted dynamic and other promos. Buyer returns item, you're on the hook for some of the fees. $1,700 item, $500 in fees.
Ouch.
Well, now I got to tell you, I deal with returns all the time. I have a return sitting in front of me, and I know that I use promoted with it, and I just didn't run the return yet, but I'm going to run it right now, and I'm going to tell you it's going to give me back everything. I'm going to hit refund the buyer, and it said that it's $129 they're getting back. We hit next on it. As much as I hate to give back that kind of money, it says I'm getting back $14.23 in my fees, my fee credits. Refund that now. So if you go in and adjust with the refund tool, if you go in and adjust the refund, then it will only give you the money. It won't give you the credit back. It won't give you the fees back if you adjust the refund. I gave them a full refund. There's no reason to adjust it. It was a default. It was a left running board motor for a Ford F-150, and there's a defect with it. So, I mean, how can I test that, right? I don't have a Ford F-150 to test it out on. I wouldn't do it anyway if I did. So it's one of those items I think I bought for a few bucks and sold it for over 100. Let's see. Fire Turtle says Uline poly and padded mailer prices are horrible before shipping. Much cheaper to get from other sources for only slightly less quality and free ship. I can't really comment on Uline's polys or padded mailers. I really haven't used it. I buy their boxes more than anything else, and the boxes are fine.
We don't get our stuff from Uline. We get it from
Gyropack. Yeah. Jovial, they sell these toys so you can have your own. Bearded says, order direct from China, much cheaper. 4 resellers got together and ordered a bunch of rolls. And that's of the stuff that he uses for his pillow machine. Yeah.
Jovial says, gotta shake the piggy bank.
Tommy says, I've had one buyer select ground advantage over priority. Took 2 weeks to get Alaska from Delaware. Of course, they mentioned in feedback.
Oh my God.
And how's that your fault?
Right.
How's that your fault? eBay puts the range of dates. So I'm wondering if it arrived within the range, they have nothing to complain about. Yeah. Jim B says, what's the exact procedure if someone opens a sealed item and returns to you order to have eBay side with you and then eBay eats the cost? I would think that the exact procedure, if someone opens, I'm not sure I understand the question. So if you're receiving an item, let's say it was sealed and now it's not, well, they've changed the condition of the item. Now, if you go in and adjust the refund and retain 50%, because because I wouldn't use that tool to retain anything less, because you're not getting your seller fees back when you go in and adjust a refund, unfortunately. The buyer can then go to eBay and say, I dispute this. eBay will 9 times out of 10 give the buyer that money back and say it's at no fault to you as a seller. We just sided with the buyer in this case and move on. So you're keeping your money, buyer's keeping theirs. Ping says, I would only use priority to ship to Alaska or Hawaii or those other islands. Can't remember what they're called, Guam, etc. Yeah, what do they call them? The APOs, the different locations outside the U.S. Tommy says, no, eBay would only pay up the other half if the buyer calls in to complain, opens a case. Yes. Susan says, happy Friday, everyone. Things picking up a little because I'm buying using more thought and research through Terapeak. There you go. And some seeing what is selling. I go through the bins and easy to buy too much. Yes, it's easy to just get overloaded with stuff. And then you get home and you start looking it up and you're like, why did I buy this stuff? So use your tools. Now, when you're out and about, you're not going to be able to use Terapeak all that at all. It's a PC thing, but you can still use your last 90 days to give you an idea. And not only that, look to see how many people are selling it. If it's sold 3 or 4 times in the last 90 and you got 20 people trying to sell it, you might be sitting on it for a little while. Maya hasn't had any issues with Ground Advantage to Alaska or Hawaii, but they are light packages like the old first class. Yes, it's opened up a new sort of way of shipping the 2 to 3, 4 pound items, like shoes, for instance. Before I would say, well, I'm probably going to ship these by priority mail. They're too light and the boxes are too small to take advantage of a lot of the rates I'm going to get with FedEx. But now with Ground Advantage, I save the buyer money. I just do a calculated Ground Advantage calculated formula, and it's helping that's helping my sales on some of the smaller items. Patricia says, got poly mailers through Temu, great quality, low price, free shipping, just had to be patient. They spam the heck out of me. I bought some items from them. I used a little promo code, and I had to send almost all of it back because the quality was bad. Just didn't like it. And I didn't buy mailers from them. But to me, if you're happy with something, I'm not going to take a chance on randomness and or having it get here in 2 weeks. Go with what works. For us, it's GyroPack, but to each their own, right? That is another option. Maya says the only one that took forever was Ground Advantage to an APO, which is in Saudi Arabia. Didn't even think about it since I used to use first class for those, and it was fine. But I think the buyer, if they're out in one of those APO locations, they're going to know it's going to take a little longer than normal. Let's see. Jim said on that other issue, they said the item was not as described, but now it's in a different condition. And I can't offer 50% because I do not offer free returns. Okay, here's the deal. If you're top rated seller, and that's why account health is important. Here's another example why account health is important. If you're a top rated seller, you do not have to offer free returns to get the refund tool. Okay. Anyone telling you that is giving you false information. It's written clearly in their policy. If you are above standard but not top rated, you need free returns to get that tool. So top rated, no free returns needed. Anyone else, you need free returns to get access to that tool. Let's see. Tommy says, don't need to be free returns for deduction. I do it all the time. Buyer paid because Tommy is top rated. Way off the trail. I use Terapeak on my phone using Chrome. Okay, so I apologize. Within the app, you can't use Terapeak. If you want to go in and dive into your, for me, it's like my Safari app, or I can have the Chrome browser on my phone. And you want to go in and pinch open and scroll. I've done that before, and go to classic mode, not mobile mode. You can make that work. You can, but it's for a lot of just regular users who don't even want to be bothered with the app. I think it's a lot to ask for them to be able to get access to it. Tommy says, make sure to quote policy, item is to be returned in identical condition as purchased. Yes. It's not fair to the seller. If you have a brand new item, they open it and go, whatever. It's not what I thought it was. I'm going to blame the seller to get the free return label, but they're going to return you back something in different condition. Well, they shouldn't get a full refund for that. Yeah. Let's see. Silver Hair says there's ground to Hawaii. I thought there was a bunch of water when we visited. Yeah, it's actually put on a train, and we used to get people who would call up where we worked and said, I want to take the train to Honolulu. All right, well, let us know when they build the tracks. Let us know
when the tracks are done.
Yeah. Tommy says, that's why it can't possibly be as fast as old first class that was flown. Jim B says, thanks, Flippin' Ain't Easy. Good channel. Well, thank you. The channel is only as good, and especially the lives, are only as good as the folks that tune in. So if we have people that participate, I could have 149, people that are just not participating. And what kind of live would that be? But thank you for being here. Hit that like button, guys. It helps the channel. It helps YouTube know that we have a good community here. And it is a halfway decent show. We have this show usually for an hour and a half to 2 hours. And it seems like only 30 minutes. By the time we're done, it's like, wow, that was fast. Bearded Picker says, come visit a couple hours after FAE show. You can look at Silver Hair Stacker's sexy wrist.
Woo!
He is the best hand model on YouTube, for sure. And he'll show you a lot of things, but he'll never show his face. I've always wondered why. He's afraid of breaking the internet. I think that's what it is.
Because he's so sexy.
Tommy says, Tara Peek in the app, go to help, type seller hub in search, and boom, you have a full seller hub. Okay, I'll have to try that. So maybe I was just ignorant to that fact. But that's what I love about this live. I can selfishly learn from you guys, and hopefully you guys can learn a few things from me. So it's an even trade. Beard says, I'm sure there's a lot of trains that run to Hawaii. Yeah, they all sunk.
Yeah.
And Silver Hair says, I've got some cute wrinkly wrists. Wow, we're an hour and 37 in. I think we are going to cut it to that because, unless we have Vet Junkie jumping in. Here's Vet Junkie. Do you always shop around to see who's the best company for shipping? I have a good deal with FedEx. So I have a local rep, sat down in a couple meetings, came up with a fair model. It's a new DIM model that maybe eBay has. It's a little bit better than that. And I get better rates than most with FedEx because of it. And it works for me. But, to me, it's based on price. If I have an item where I offer, let's say, $10 shipping, and then Ground Advantage is $8, and maybe FedEx or UPS is $11, I'm going to go Ground Advantage all the time. Andy says, take care. And Beard says, that's not what I typed. I'm sure there are a lot of trains run in Hawaii. I don't want to know about that, Beard. This is not that kind of channel. Now, you can tune in at 5 Pacific, 7 Central, 8 Eastern, I think that's right, to the Bearded Picker channel, and he will provide you with all that information. If you've ever wanted to know how a train is run in Hawaii, he will give you all that information, but not on this channel.
About all the trains that run in Hawaii.
Oh, okay. But let's see. Here's Jovial. Come check out Bearded Picker's YouTube channel. Silver Hair Stacker has his own action figures he will sell you. And he might even play with them live on the channel.
Wow.
But so we've run out of stuff to talk about. But I just want to thank each and every one of you guys really for being here. But really focus on things that maybe some of the other YouTubers aren't talking about. Maybe it's not popular. Maybe it's not catchy, clickbaity, but it's still important. Things that eBay shows you, they show you for a reason. It's not because they're just trying to be cute with your metrics. They want you to know that maybe here you're underperforming. Maybe you have a lot of things you need to work on behind the scenes. And maybe when you do that, you fix your defects, you fix your customer satisfaction metrics, maybe that is the answer to get more sales. And it's maybe not what you're selling. It's maybe what the customer perceives you as a seller that's holding you back. But these things we have to figure out, and it's all a part of how flipping ain't easy. And I want you guys to have an excellent weekend, and we will see you guys here. Wish me luck with the races tomorrow and the yard sale. But until then, we will see you guys on Monday. Take care, everyone.
Have a good weekend. Bye, guys.